See, we just go straight to the damn video. See, I'm used to the other things, giving you a little transition depending what software you're using, of course. And this automatically just goes straight to the video. So, hey guys, uh, head up, right? Welcome to the office. It is a Monday morning. It is a very slow week. My work truck is been at the repair shop for the weekend, getting some minor damage done. Repairs done to it after I got knocked up by a derecho about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Plus, it's our yearly DOT inspection. So one of the interesting things about having access to this kind of data pad thing is I'm able to do stuff like, I'm actually just got done watching a video from Runeslinger. He's doing a commentary based off of some comments, a video made by the Black Lodge Games website, and I will try to remember to put a link to that too. Mr. Runeslinger here is kind of the head of a bit of a think tank going on over on Facebook. He's got about 40 or so of really diehard gamers that dial into this discussion channel, if you will, and for whatever reasons they picked me as well, because I feel so out of character with these guys sometimes. Their level of acuity is just way above mine. So anyway, it says he talked about it connects to our recent metaphor of RPG as a soap opera to our ongoing discussions on states of play in character and out of character, and vectors of play, i.e. how we both play in and out of character. While leaving the notion of story for another time, it is a tip to further the exploration of in-character gaming and recommendation to help speed you on your journey. There's ever since the very beginning. You go back to David Wesling or whatever his name is, who come up with the Barons of Bronstein. So we start seeing the very infancy of the role-playing game industry as we now know it today. And so there's always been this drive for to be as in character as possible. This is being represented today by a group of very dedicated players that want total immersion or theater of the mind, which is also being equated to the fourth estate or state of dimension or fourth dimension of gameplay, being that there are 4 states. And the most basic, like playing a tabletop game like Monopoly, is level 1 or first dimension, so you go up progressively. And to get to that total submission of the elements of the theater of the mind, where you are so confident in your system and in the fellows at your table that you can forego the need of things like dice rolls and mechanic checks and clarifications on what my character can and cannot do in a given situation. All this is supposed to be a given, that you're somehow going to be able to tune in and tune out and play the characters as 100% possible as character in character, which is a challenge and a laudable one. It's a very good challenge, excellent thing to strive for. Very few groups are going to get that total immersion on a regular basis, but it doesn't mean it's not valid for going after that and looking into it. One of the big subjects of the channel the discussion channel on Facebook, is how we play and why. Not so much as the brute mechanics of obviously throwing the dice versus non-dice, etc. They've taught conversations like that come up all the time too. But what are the motivations that bring us grown-ass adults back to the table over and over and over again? And sometimes for some less than clear agendas. I mean, for a lot of players and people, it's just to have the satisfaction of sitting down with a group of friends or associates and engaging in something we enjoy engaging in. And there's plenty of hobbies out there. You can just go down a bloody list a mile long of all the possibilities out there. So it's always been a interesting part for me. So I watch videos on other YouTube channels all the time. I read some papers and stuff that come up occasionally on a couple websites on the internet when I notice them in relation to why we do the things we do and what does it take to make a game experience better. How do we improve on things that we already think we know and go forward from there? What does it take to get to that total immersion and to make sure that along the way we don't become exclusive or arrogant in our mindset of saying this is the only way to play. I will not play with anybody else if they don't engage in my style, my preference, my table rules. You won't do a lot of playing if that's your your end all to beat all. You might be lucky, but you're going to be the exception to the rule. I think that it is a laudable challenge and a laudable pursuit to keep working on that, to keep improving our experiences, that of ourselves and everybody else that sit down to share the table with us. Soap opera. Yeah, there's a lot of elements of soap opera to role-playing games, and can be even more so depending on the group of players, once again, and the level of depth you want to play in the game. And that in and of itself is an interesting sidebar or conundrum, because I don't hear it get talked about as much as maybe it ought to, because there's a lot of talk about how you need to be fully immersive, get your character, the least amount of dice rolls, the least amount of mechanics, rules light, etc., etc., etc. But at the end of the day, did you have fun? Was it enjoyable for you? And if it was, then you're doing something right. If your form of enjoyment, though, is making other people at the table uncomfortable or inadequate feeling, then they're not likely to want to sit down at the table and play again, let alone play under your set of rules and up to your expectations. That can be a downside too. It can be a bad thing when you're trying to promote the industry or the hobby in general to new players, and potentially you're putting off somebody who could become a stellar fourth dimension immersive theater of the mind player given time. All right. The other side of the coin is that there are always going to be people that's not what we're here for. We're here for the social aspect of sitting down and playing a game that we all like to play. And it could just as easily be bloody Monopoly. I don't play Monopoly that often anymore. I did when I was younger. Not exclusively, I guess that's the kind of what I'm getting at. Is I always feel stuffy in here, even with the AC going on. That it's there for the fun, not necessarily for the challenge, right? But after a while, a lot of basic board games become kind of blah to me, right? There's no real challenge in the long run, in my opinion, on them. So role-playing games are forms of opera. Not necessarily wrong, not necessarily right. I think there's a lot yet to be determined, a lot yet to be explored in that, and as in the simplest terms, in a way, it is, right? The same characters repetitively coming back for issue after issue. A good GM or a talented GM or a lucky one will have reoccurring bad characters, reoccurring villains in their theme, in their campaign, which adds to that soap opera-esque effect to it, right? It's just a matter of taste, a matter of flavor, and worthy of our consideration. Give it some thought. What is exactly you want when you sit down at the table? What is your expectation for your play? What would you really ultimately enjoy to do, and what are you okay with doing? Anyway, I'm Rick. You're not. I'm at the office. No kiddies up here today. You guys have yourself a great weekend. It's the beginning of a new week, right? Just have yourself a great week. It's going to be one of these kind of weeks. The truck ought to be done. Fix and call them here pretty soon to find out if that's so. Always, cringe whenever I send this truck in for an inspection, because it seems like every year there's always something. Last year I had that brake pad replaced. It was down for another week or another day or two, and it was something else and something else. And the mechanics can't be proactive. They can't say, oh, well, we need to, let's order the effing part now. No, we got to wait till we talk to somebody first, then we order the part. We're not going to say no. We don't have a choice. You say we need it, we better get it. It is what it is. Anyway, hopefully the sound come out on this thing. I got a case for it, but it's not the right case. It doesn't fit just right. It barely fits, and I had to cut out some pieces in the sides of it so I could access the ports and stuff. The head jack port down here, though, is still blocked, and hopefully the sound is available. Otherwise, this is pointless, right? And I just wasted 10 minutes of everybody's time, mine specifically. Alrighty.